Most Scandinavians think they are eating the finest chocolate in the world. But a lot of what sits on supermarket shelves across Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland has quietly changed. Some products now use palm oil instead of cocoa butter. Others have shrunk by nearly 20% while prices doubled. And some beloved national brands are now owned by multinational corporations with troubling human rights records in their supply chains. Today, we are exposing 6 Scandinavian chocolate products that raise serious questions and revealing what you need to know before your next purchase. Number 1. Fazer. Fazer is practically a national symbol in Finland. Since 1922, the distinctive blue wrapper has represented Finnish quality and craftsmanship. The Carl Fazer milk chocolate bar is the country's best-selling chocolate, with Finns consuming an average of 7 kilograms of chocolate per person annually. But here is what changed. In late August 2024, Fazer announced it would reduce the size of several signature chocolate bars from 200 grams to 180 grams. That is a 10% reduction in product size during a period when prices have already increased substantially. If you bought the same chocolate 5 years ago and compare it to today, you are getting significantly less chocolate for significantly more money. Fazer attributes this to rising cocoa costs. And to be fair, cocoa prices did spike dramatically in 2024. But the pattern mirrors what chocolate companies worldwide have been doing for years. Shrink the product, keep the packaging similar, and hope consumers do not notice. Here is what most consumers do not know. Despite Fazer's reputation for Finnish quality, the company sources its cocoa from the same West African supply chains as every other major chocolate manufacturer. Ghana and Ivory Coast produce approximately 70% of the world's cocoa. And according to a 2020 report funded by the United States Department of Labor and conducted by the University of Chicago, approximately 1.56 million children work in cocoa production in these two countries. 95% of them are exposed to hazardous working conditions, including using machetes, carrying heavy loads, and exposure to pesticides. Fazer claims to follow its Cocoa Vision sustainability program and sources Rainforest Alliance certified cocoa. But certification alone does not guarantee child labor-free production. A 2022 Channel 4 investigation found children as young as 10 working on certified farms in Ghana. The certification systems have significant gaps in monitoring and enforcement. To their credit, Fazer has taken some positive steps. By 2024, the company removed palm oil from its confectionery and biscuit products, replacing it with cocoa butter. That is more than many competitors can say. But the shrinkflation, the murky cocoa supply chains, and the premium pricing for what is essentially mass-produced chocolate should give consumers pause. The Finnish government announced plans in 2024 to raise value-added tax on confectionery from 14% to 25.5%, which will make chocolate even more expensive. Fazer has criticized this move, suggesting it could affect their decision to invest in a new chocolate factory. What this really means is that consumers will likely pay more while potentially getting even less. There is another issue that affects all chocolate, including Fazer. Studies have found that dark chocolate and cocoa products contain heavy metals, specifically lead and cadmium. A 2024 study published in Frontiers in Nutrition tested 72 cocoa products and found that 43% exceeded California's maximum allowable dose level for lead, while 35% exceeded the limit for cadmium. These heavy metals accumulate in the body over time and are linked to neurological damage, kidney problems, and increased cancer risk. While milk chocolate generally contains lower levels than dark chocolate due to lower cocoa content, the contamination is present across all chocolate products. Number 2. Freia. Freia is to Norway what Fazer is to Finland. The company was founded in Oslo in 1889, and its milk chocolate bar, Freia Melkesjokolade, is often called Norway's national chocolate. The iconic Kvikk Lunsji chocolate wafer is synonymous with Norwegian outdoor culture. You cannot go hiking in Norway without seeing someone unwrap a Kvikk Lunsji at the summit. But here is what most Norwegians do not realize. Freia has not been Norwegian-owned since 1993. The company is owned by Mondelez International, a massive American multinational corporation headquartered in Chicago. Mondelez is the same company that owns Cadbury, Milka, Oreo, and Toblerone. In 2023, Mondelez reported global revenues of approximately $36 billion. In May 2023, Ukraine's National Agency on Corruption Prevention declared Mondelez International an international sponsor of war. The reason? Mondelez continues to operate 3 factories in Russia that generate estimated annual revenues of 14 billion Norwegian kroner. According to Ukrainian authorities, these operations contribute to financing Russia's war efforts. This designation triggered an unprecedented boycott in Norway. SAS Airlines stopped serving Freia products on flights. Norwegian Air followed. The Norwegian Football Federation banned Freia products from stadium kiosks during European Championship qualifiers. Hotel chain Strawberry, shipping company Hurtigruten, railway operator SJ Norway, and the Norwegian Trekking Association all severed ties with the brand. Think about that. The Norwegian Trekking Association, which had decades of partnership with Kvikk Lunsj promoting outdoor culture, walked away. The symbolic connection between Freia and Norwegian identity was broken by corporate decisions made thousands of miles away in Chicago, and the problems extend beyond the Russia connection. Parts of Freia production have been outsourced to Lithuania, Estonia, and Sweden, following restructuring by the parent company. A 2022 Channel 4 Dispatches investigation found children as young as 10 working on farms in Ghana that supply cocoa to Mondelez's Cadbury brand. These are the same supply chains feeding Freia production. In May 2024, the European Commission fined Mondelez €337.5 million for anti-competitive practices and abusing its dominant market position. The company was found to be illegally blocking cross-border sales of chocolate, cookies, and coffee across European Union countries. Norwegian consumers are caught in a difficult position. The chocolate tastes the same as it always did. The wrapper still says it is made with Norwegian milk, but the profits flow to an American corporation that Ukraine considers a war sponsor, that has been fined hundreds of millions for anti-competitive behavior, and that sources cocoa from supply chains tainted by child labor. In July 2025, Mondelez's Milka brand won Germany's Goldener Windbeutel Award, a satirical prize for shrinkflation. The company had reduced Milka bars from 100 grams to 90 grams, while keeping packaging virtually identical. The same pattern is playing out across all Mondelez brands, including Freia. Number 3. Cloetta. Cloetta is one of Sweden's oldest and most iconic confectionery brands, founded in 1862. The company produces beloved products like Kexchoklad, Sweden's best-selling chocolate wafer bar since 1938, as well as Plopp, Center, and Ahlgrens Bilar. Walk into any Swedish supermarket and Cloetta products dominate the chocolate aisle. But flip over a Cloetta product and read the ingredients list. What you will find tells a very different story from the traditional Swedish image. Take Kexchoklad. The ingredients include sugar, wheat flour, skimmed milk powder, vegetable fats including palm and shea, whey powder, cocoa butter, whole milk powder, cocoa mass, cocoa powder, coconut oil, emulsifier soy lecithin, salt, raising agent sodium bicarbonate, and artificial flavor vanillin. Notice the order. Sugar comes first. Vegetable fats including palm oil appear before cocoa butter. The cocoa content is listed as at least 25%, which is the legal minimum for milk chocolate. This is not artisanal chocolate. This is industrial confectionery optimized for cost, shelf stability, and mass production. Plopp, another Cloetta classic, contains sugar, glucose syrup, cocoa butter, whole milk powder, vegetable fats, including palm and shea, cocoa mass, skimmed milk powder, whey powder, salt, emulsifier soy lecithin, and flavorings. Again, sugar and glucose syrup are the first 2 ingredients. Palm oil is present. The product is essentially sugar and fat, with enough cocoa to legally call it chocolate. The use of palm oil is particularly concerning given the environmental devastation associated with palm oil production. Rainforest destruction, loss of orangutan habitat, Massive carbon emissions from peatland drainage and exploitation of workers have all been documented in palm oil supply chains. While some palm oil is certified as sustainable, these certifications have significant limitations, and critics argue they do not adequately prevent deforestation or labor abuses. Some Cloetta products now claim to be palm oil-free using coconut oil or shea butter instead, but product formulations vary and change over time. The only way to know what you are eating is to read the label every single time you purchase. Like all major chocolate manufacturers, Cloetta sources cocoa from global supply chains that include West African farms where child labor has been extensively documented. The company may have sustainability programs and certifications, but the fundamental problem remains. There is no chocolate company that can guarantee with certainty that its cocoa was produced without child labor. If this investigation is changing how you see Scandinavian chocolate, hit the like button so more people can find this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more investigations into everyday products that are quietly changing on supermarket shelves. And stay with us because we have 3 more brands to expose. Number 4, Nidar. Nidar is Norway's second largest chocolate producer and has been based in Trondheim since 1912. The company produces some of Norway's most beloved treats, including Stratus, Smash, Troika, Bamsemums, and Laban. If Freya is the elegant milk chocolate, Nidar is the fun, quirky candy company. But Nidar is not an independent Norwegian company. It is part of the Orkla Group, one of Norway's largest consumer goods conglomerates, with operations across the Nordics and Baltics. Orkla is publicly traded on the Oslo Stock Exchange and reported revenues of over 65 billion Norwegian kroner in recent years. To their credit, Orkla has made significant efforts to remove palm oil from Nidar products. In 2015, the company announced it had reduced palm oil consumption by 77% since 2008. Popular products like Smash now use a blend of sunflower oil, shea butter, and coconut oil instead of palm oil. According to Orkla, all Nidar cocoa is Rainforest Alliance certified. But here is where it gets complicated. Look at a bag of Smash, and you will find this ingredient list: sugar, dried milk, corn flour, cocoa butter, cocoa mass, sunflower oil, shea oil, tapioca starch, coconut oil, emulsifier soy lecithin, raising agent sodium bicarbonate, salt, and flavor. Sugar is the first ingredient. The product contains 39 grams of sugar per 100 grams and delivers 535 calories per 100 grams. Smash is essentially corn crisps covered in chocolate. It is engineered to be addictive, combining salt and sweet in a light, crispy texture. This is what food scientists call the bliss point, the precise combination of salt, sugar, and fat that maximizes consumption. The larger question is whether products like Smash, Stratus, or Troika should even be considered chocolate, or whether they are better described as chocolate-flavored confectionery. When sugar is the primary ingredient and cocoa content is minimal, the health benefits associated with actual chocolate are negligible. Orkla publishes transparency reports under Norway's Transparency Act, acknowledging that cocoa and palm oil remain high-risk raw materials for human rights concerns. The company admits to having more than 4,000 direct suppliers and acknowledges that tracing all cocoa back to farm level remains a challenge. The 2024 cocoa crisis affected Nidar just as it affected every other chocolate company. Cocoa prices quadrupled from around $2,500 per ton to over $10,000 per ton. Expect to see smaller packages, higher prices, or reformulated products with less cocoa and more filler ingredients in the coming years. When a company has thousands of suppliers and cannot trace its raw materials to the source, consumers have no way of knowing whether their purchase is contributing to child labor or environmental destruction. Number 5, Anthon Berg. Anthon Berg has been Denmark's premier marzipan and chocolate brand since 1884. The company holds a royal warrant to the Royal Danish Court and is famous for its chocolate liqueur bottles, marzipan bars, and premium gift assortments. Walk through any Scandinavian airport duty-free shop and you will see Anthon Berg products prominently displayed. The brand cultivates an image of Danish craftsmanship and luxury. But dig deeper, and the reality is more complicated. First, Anton Berg is now part of Tom's Group, a Danish confectionery conglomerate, and some premium products are manufactured not in Denmark, but in Poland. Check the back of your Anton Berg Diplomat selection box, and you may find country of production, Poland. More concerning is the inconsistent use of palm oil across the product range. Some Anton Berg products prominently state without palm oil on the packaging. The marzipan bars with dark chocolate, for example, list only almonds, sugar, cocoa mass, glucose syrup, cocoa butter, milk fat, emulsifier lecithin, and preservative sorbic acid. No palm oil. But look at the Anton Berg filled chocolates or chocolate pralines assortment, and the ingredient list tells a different story. Sugar, cocoa mass, cocoa butter, glucose syrup, whole milk powder, roasted hazelnuts, almonds, condensed milk, vegetable fat, including palm and shea kernel, stabilizer sorbitol syrup, apricot kernels, coconut, milk sugar, plums, emulsifier lecithin, milk fat, maltodextrin from maize, strawberry concentrate, lychee concentrate salt, coffee extract, syrup, licorice extract, liqueur wine, preservatives, flavorings, vanilla extract, cocoa powder, humectant, thickener pectin, acid citric acid, and color carmine. That is an extraordinary number of ingredients. This is not simple Danish chocolate. This is highly processed industrial confectionery with palm oil, multiple emulsifiers, preservatives, and colorants. The use of palm oil in some products but not others creates consumer confusion. A shopper who sees without palm oil on one Anton Berg product might assume the entire brand is palm oil free. They would be wrong. Premium pricing does not guarantee premium ingredients. Anton Berg products often cost significantly more than everyday chocolate bars, yet many contain the same industrial ingredients that consumers are trying to avoid. Like all major chocolate brands sourcing from global supply chains, Anton Berg cannot guarantee that its cocoa was produced without child labor. The marzipan products also contain almonds, and almond production has its own sustainability concerns related to intensive water usage in drought-prone regions like California, where most of the world's almonds are grown. A single almond requires approximately 12 liters of water to produce. When you combine questionable cocoa sourcing with water-intensive almond production, the environmental footprint of these premium products is significant. Number 6. Dummel. Dumle is a beloved toffee candy coated in milk chocolate, produced by Fazer. The brand originated in Sweden in 1945 and was acquired by Fazer in 1975. Today, Dumle is marketed across the Nordic countries as a nostalgic treat that brings friends together. But Dumle holds a special distinction in this investigation. It has the most confusing and inconsistent ingredient labeling we have ever encountered. Go to the official Fazer store website, and you will find Dumle marketed as palm oil free. The ingredient list states glucose syrup, sugar, fully hydrogenated vegetable fat coconut, whole milk powder, cocoa butter, whey powder from milk, cocoa mass, skimmed milk powder, salt, emulsifier soya lecithin, and flavorings caramel and vanillin, coconut oil, not palm oil. Now search for Dumle on third-party retailers, especially those selling to international markets. Many list the ingredients as glucose syrup, sugar, vegetable fat palm, whole milk powder, cocoa butter, whey powder from milk, cocoa mass, skimmed milk powder, salt, emulsifier soya lecithin, and flavorings. Same product name, different ingredients. One says palm oil, one says coconut oil. What is happening here? Either Fazer has reformulated Dummel to remove palm oil, and some retailers are displaying outdated ingredient information, or different markets receive products with different formulations. Either scenario is problematic for consumers trying to make informed choices. This is not a minor discrepancy. Palm oil and coconut oil are fundamentally different ingredients with different environmental and health implications. A consumer who is specifically avoiding palm oil for ethical or health reasons cannot trust the packaging unless they verify with the manufacturer directly. Setting aside the palm oil confusion, Look at the nutritional profile. Dummel contains 54 grams of sugar per 100 grams. More than half the product is sugar. The first two ingredients are glucose syrup and sugar. This is candy, not chocolate. The cocoa content is listed as minimum 30% cocoa solids in the milk chocolate coating, but the toffee filling, which makes up 73% of the product, contains no cocoa at all. When you eat Dummel, you are mostly eating sugar, glucose syrup, and fat with a thin chocolate coating. Fazer markets Dummel with the slogan, "Let's stick together," emphasizing friendship and fun moments. The marketing is brilliant. It transforms a nutritionally questionable product into an emotional experience. But no amount of clever marketing changes what is actually in the bag. This is a pattern across the entire confectionery industry. Nostalgia and emotional connections are used to sell products that would struggle on their nutritional merits alone. By now, the pattern is impossible to miss. Across Scandinavian supermarket chocolate, the same strategies repeat. Replace cocoa butter with cheaper palm oil or vegetable fats. Reduce cocoa solids and boost sugar content. Shrink packages but keep the design similar. Reformulate quietly and hope consumers do not notice. Sell ownership to multinational corporations while maintaining national branding. Source cocoa from supply chains with documented child labor. So what are the alternatives? Look for chocolate where the ingredient list is short and honest. Cocoa mass or cocoa liquor should be listed first, then cocoa butter, then sugar. No vegetable oils, no palm oil, no long lists of emulsifiers and artificial flavorings. Seek out bean-to-bar makers. Scandinavia has a growing craft chocolate scene with small producers who source cacao directly and keep ingredient lists minimal. These products cost more, but the difference in quality is undeniable. Read labels every single time. Do not assume the chocolate you bought last year has the same recipe today. Companies reformulate constantly, and they are not required to announce it. If this video changed how you see the chocolate aisle, tap like so more Scandinavians can find it. And tell us in the comments which product shocked you the most and what we should investigate next. Thanks for watching.